So, is the price of Bitcoin doing the unthinkable? Is the price of Ethereum doing the unthinkable? Let's find that out in today's video, along with some very interesting scenario which could be unfolding next for Bitcoin and also for Ethereum. So, first thing first, guys, destroy that like button if you haven't done it yet. And for those individuals watching you the first time, hit the subscribe button and the bell. So, on my yesterday's video, we talked about this one scenario here, ascending triangle. I was very clear. Even though the ascending triangle is considered bullish, but in the medium short term, there might be some fake out, just like as shown here in an example. Fake break to the downside, right? Fake break to the downside before price again continuing this uptrend, because we know ascending triangle in general, or in most of the cases during an uptrend, has shown this kind of movement, fake out and then again starting a new impulsive movement, because we know parallelly the price of Bitcoin is also facing resistance exactly from the line which previously acted as a support. If we look at this carefully, guys, this lower line from this ascending triangle could be acting as a resistance around 28,460, 28,480 range. So this line here, the rising trend line, is considered as a resistance in the medium short term. I'm not saying the price cannot show a move here like this, but what I personally believe, we could see further range bound, right, price even coming back to test some key line of support below 27,000 range before continuing this uptrend. But in general, overall, this is still looked as a bullish continuation pattern, because we know parallelly the price of Bitcoin was also following this ascending channel. And yesterday I showed you guys, if the price of Bitcoin is going to break the support from this rising trend line, this red line, then in the medium short term we could see some retracement, and this is exactly what happened. We lost the support from this rising trend line, started showing weakness, but the price somehow has managed to find support around this 27,600, 27,500, because you can see this line was previously also a very strong line of support, this horizontal line. This is exactly where we came and started showing this bullishness. But I just showed you with this ascending triangle lower line, in the medium short term, this rising trend line is going to be acting as a resistance. Yes, guys, this exact line which previously acted as support is going to be acting as a resistance. So that's why if the price wants to invalidate this bearish continuation, then we need to come across this rising trend line and even break the resistance from this ascending triangle, because in the past price action, the upper line has always been a very important line of resistance, and only after flipping that into support, we will say that the bearish scenario for now is going to get invalidated and price will start a new uptrend towards 30,000, 33,000 range. And why this would make a lot of sense, because we know parallelly the price was forming this broadening top. I have been talking about this broadening top since a couple of days. Many might already get bored, but what I want you guys to understand, since the price is still above this rising trend line, the upper line area, any sort of a shakeout in the medium short term, this exact line which previously acted as a resistance will be considered as a support for Bitcoin. And even if we go lower than that, I mean, if the price of Bitcoin does shows a bigger retracement lower than 27,000, in that case, we know the CPI lines are going to be looked as one of the most important support for Bitcoin. Yes, guys, between this 27,000 to 25,000 range, we have some very strong line of support lining for Bitcoin. So that's why in the medium short term, even though the price has started to show bullishness, but what I want you guys to keep in mind is this one scenario, some range bound even faking out, just like as shown in the example, fake break to the downside before starting this uptrend. So right now, guys, what I want you to look at is the CPI in a daily time frame. Since the price of Bitcoin is choosing a trend direction without touching any of the CPI line, top, central and the bottom CPI line, this has made a VCPI. VCPI means the price could get gravitated towards the CPI line first before choosing a trend direction. And if we get lucky, what could also happen is first get attracted towards this AREN line and then a free fall type of movement towards the CPI area before choosing a trend direction for the month of April. So that's why this is also one price movement which we have to keep in mind. But for this to play out, we know the rising trend line resistance here in the medium short term must be flipped into support, and price must also find support above this upper line from this ascending channel. And now let's talk about this Wyckoff's reaccumulation schematic one, because yesterday when I showed you, we found out the price of Bitcoin could be in between the phase B and phase C. And in phase B, phase C, what happens? Price shows more of range bound. You can see this exact example between that range. Price shows more of range bound, but at the end gets gravitated towards the lower trend line where it finds support and then starts a new impulsive movement. So in our case right now, the price of Bitcoin is showing some bullish movement. So what I still want you guys to look at is a continuation here like this. Slow move towards the phase C before finding support, before testing this key line of support, and then slowly entering phase C and even starting this new phase E, the new markup rally for Bitcoin. So that's why as long as the price in the medium short term remains below 28,450, 28,460 range, we still need to be careful, because this rising trend line which previously acted as support could be rejecting the price, and price after that could be getting gravitated towards the lower trend line from this ascending channel, because getting gravitated towards the lower trend line means the price will also find support at this CPI line, the top CPI line, which will invalidate the bearish scenario for Bitcoin. So let's also quickly look at this 1 2 3 4 5 formation which we talked yesterday. I showed you guys the price in the medium short term could be forming a very similar movement, because we could be around phase, the final phase from this impulsive movement where the trend gets exhausted and then starts reversing. So in our case, the price of Bitcoin is around 28,000 range, but we still need to be careful, because you can see if this exact scenario is going to play out just like from the past price action after some range bound, we could still get gravitated towards the lower trend line between 25,000 to 27,000 range before price finally starts finding support and then start a new markup phase like this. So looking into different scenarios, looking into different time frame, for Bitcoin, 27,000 to 25,000 support is very, very important. And as long as we remain above that, any sort of a shakeout will be just looked as a temporary weakness before price again starts showing bullishness. And now guys, let's jump into Ethereum price action. So for Ethereum, I'm going to keep it very, very simple. But before that, if you haven't destroyed that like button, then please do it right now. And for those individuals watching for the first time, hit the subscribe button and the bell. So for Ethereum, we have talked about this descending channel breakout scenario where I showed you guys if this continuation is going to play out a bull flag breakout pattern, then for the upcoming days, our focus is going to be somewhere between 2,200, 2,000 range. Yes guys, for Ethereum, this 2,000 to 2,200 range will be looked as a upcoming target. But if you look at this price structure where we are right now, we are forming a so-called broadening top or bullish megaphone pattern. Now, if I would switch this into daily time frame, you can see the price is still above the upper trend line from this ascending broadening wedge or broadening top. Any sort of a weakness in the medium short term, this exact line, right, which previously acted as a strong line of resistance, will be acting as a support around 1,740, 1,730 range. So this line, the rising trend line, is going to be looked as support. And let's say if the price of Bitcoin starts showing weakness and also gets gravitated towards this lower trend line following this Wyckoff's reaccumulation schematic 1, then in that case, we will be looking at this price in this manner, double top. And if this double top is going to play out after breaking the neckline, 1,600 to 1,650 is where we could be getting gravitated. So between that range will be looked as our target once the price loses the support from this rising trend line and price of Bitcoin also starts showing weakness. But we know as long as we remain above this line of 25,000 to 27,000 range, and also for Ethereum around 1,600 range, any sort of a shakeout will be just looked as a temporary shakeout before price again starts showing bullishness. So this is what I see right now looking at the price action of Bitcoin, looking at the price action of Ethereum. So if you enjoyed my work, then please destroy that like button, and for those individuals watching for the first time, hit the subscribe button and the bell. Now by saying this, I'm signing out. My name is Anup. Bye bye.